I went to a whiskey festival with one mission: to interview all the distillers and sample their whiskey. Can I do it? So what I went to was SOCO Still Fest in Colorado Springs, Colorado. The largest whiskey festival in southern Colorado. Had over 36 different distilleries all there at the same time sampling their whiskey. I went in to ask them 3 questions. How long have you been around? What products do you have? And do you have anything exciting coming up in the future? So let's see. Can I pull it off?
So what does Southern Colorado's largest whiskey festival look like? Well, here it is. Over 40 different vendors, over 30 different distilleries, all in one place. And guess what? They're all from Colorado. So let's walk around. We're going to take a look and meet some folks. So let's see. 300 Days of Shine out of Monument, Colorado right here. So tell me, how long have you guys been around?
It's been about almost 9 years.
9 years, awesome. So what do we got here today?
We've got our entire line. We've got our 40 proof, apple pie, sweet tea, strawberry lemonade, lime and shine, 100 proof Colorado honey and fireball, and our newly released seasonal honey guava habanero. And then we have a whole array of barrel aged and bottled shine.
So you guys do moonshine?
We do Colorado traditional moonshine, just like they did during Prohibition right here in Colorado. We follow a lot of traditions, and good buddies with the Carlino family. If you don't know who the Carlino family is, Pete and Sam Carlino were the most notorious bootleggers in Colorado during Prohibition.
Awesome. So you guys have anything exciting coming up?
We always have something exciting coming up, but we've got so many events this summer. We've got a lot happening this summer. You're going to see us out at these things all summer long. And at the distillery, we've got a whole lot. We're building up. We're doing a whole lot of production. We brought on some new sales crews, so you're going to see us out there a whole lot more.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I got Sky Distillery here. So how long have you guys been around doing business?
So we actually just had our 2nd anniversary party. We weren't able to do it at the new location, unfortunately, because they're still getting the finishing touches there. But once that new location opens up, it's going to be phenomenal, and we'll do a grand opening party and get everything.
It's fantastic.
Up and moving, a lot more space than the old, and so production's just going to continue to increase as well. So
it's great. So what do you got here?
Got a number of things today. So our main whiskey lineups here, we have our 2 flagship products that most people are familiar with. We have our low rye bourbon. It's going to be a 21% rye, 75% corn. We have our high wheat whiskey. It's a 95% wheat whiskey. This one's extremely popular in the summer because there's no corn content in that. So it's a really easy thing to drink on a warm day. It doesn't heat you up like the bourbon does. You don't get that warm feeling going down. We have a 17-year-old light whiskey. Most people are very familiar with our light whiskeys. This one actually was bottled on 420 at 17 years, 142 proof. We also have our collaboration blend. It's our Bonnie and Clyde. This is in collaboration with Artofthespirits. It's a high rye blend. It's a blend between rye whiskey and a rye bourbon. Finished in a Sauvignon Blanc barrel. Gives it a very unique characteristic.
So now, do you have anything exciting coming down the pipe?
There's some stuff. One of the first things that should be out of pipeline whenever it's ready, because it's one of the biggest things with Mike and Isaac is if something's not ready, they're not putting it out. But Isaac's been working on his own rum. It's 100% his distillate. It's being finished in a Hungarian oak. I'm not even a rum guy, and I couldn't be more excited for that item. Then I know he also has a cigar malt on the way and a number of other projects and finishing projects that are going to be finished up and pushed out as they hit the appropriate point, but in the new location as well. They actually just got a huge shipment of new barrels in as well. So
that's fantastic.
Plenty of things coming down the pipeline once we get settled in the new place.
So where can you guys be found? Are you only in Colorado or?
All over right now. So all over Colorado. As far as southern Colorado, if you're wondering a place, hit me up. You guys can find me in the Bourbon Society. All around northern Colorado. We're in California, Texas, Florida, and I believe New York as well.
You got feisty spirits here.
We are the first distillery in Fort Collins. We've been distilling for 10 years. Just celebrated the LLC back in January of this year. And we're going to celebrate the 9-year anniversary of our tasting room in July 23rd.
Fantastic. So what do you got here out in front of you?
Well, what we have here, starting at my left, your right, we have our Wild Thing whiskey. It is our cocktail base. We created it to be the cocktail base in our tasting room. It's got 70 yellow corn, 15 rye, 15 wheat. Chose rye and wheat to cut through that sweet yellow corn. It also cuts through your sweet mixers, so you still get your whiskey note in your cocktail. We have our traditional bourbon flavor that bourbon drinkers will identify with, our Better Days bourbon. And it has 15% spelt. Spelt's an ancient grain, ancestor of wheats. Gives you hints of nutmeg and cinnamon. It's 65 yellow, 15 rye, 15 spelt, and 5 barley malt. We call this our Fall Harvest Festival in a glass.
Fantastic.
Then we would go to our Rocket Rye. Now, this is my personal favorite. We got 70 rye from Canada, which is very floral. 30 rye from Alamosa, Colorado. The Warm Days, Cool Nights present an interesting rye that gives a buttery note. So it's like rye bread, brown sugar butter, orange marmalade. Some people get cherry, and then the spice from the rye comes across on the finish, but not so strong that it ruins the experience.
Fantastic.
Then we have our Wild Thing Spiced Apple. So, we actually this week just bottled and labeled and put into cases our red, white, and blue. Should be coming out to liquor stores shortly. We release it every year for the 4th of July. 10% of the proceeds goes to rebuilding America's warriors. It's pretty special bourbon. And like I say, that's just being released into liquor stores. And it's in the tasting room now to purchase because once it's gone, it is gone.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
How's it going?
So how long you guys been around?
Well, we opened to the public in November 2019. So, right before COVID. Perfect
Hard timing,
right? Yeah.
Right.
But we survived, and we're hooking and jabbing every day, trying to make it work.
So what do you guys got out here?
So we've got 9 products on the market. We've got 4 whiskeys. So we've got our bourbon, we've got our cask strength bourbon, and we've got a rye, and then we've also got a cinnamon bourbon, which is amazing. It's not like Fireball. No sugar added. It's just bourbon and cinnamon. It's really amazing. And then on the unaged side, we've got a vodka, we've got a gin, we've got a strawberry vodka, which is amazing. And then we've got 2 different rums, unaged sweet rum and a barrel-aged rum.
Awesome. So do you guys have anything exciting coming down the pipe?
We do. We're just in the final formulation of a spiced rum, which is going to be really good. So our rums are very unique. We make them out of molasses from a sugar co-op down in Louisiana. So they're very unique. And the 2 of them are really good, but we're going to make a spiced one as well.
That's fantastic. So how long you guys been around?
Since 2014.
Awesome.
We were a restaurant before then, and the Waldo Canyon Fire forced us to become a distillery. And that ended up being a really good decision because let me tell you, nobody stopped drinking in 2019 to 2020. We were doing okay.
Awesome. So what do you got here?
So right now we got our moonshine. This is 60% corn, half yellow, half white. 40% barley, half malted, half raw. Once distilled, so if you don't taste the cornflakes, then we have done something terribly wrong. We got our rye moonshine, so totally rye, just a little bit of wheat in there. And the United States government forced us to call it vodka, but that's okay. It says moonshine somewhere in there.
Yeah.
We got our Colorado wheat whiskey, so wheat, little bit corn, little bit of sugar cane, and in an 80 proof. And we put that in a Barbados rum barrel for 9 months. We got our white rum, cachaça style, so sugar cane juice from Brazil mixed with brown sugar. And then we take that, we age it 9 months in a bourbon barrel, and we get our dark rum. And that's everything we got today, and it's all looking pretty good. It's all been pretty popular.
Fantastic. Do you have anything exciting coming down the pipe?
We got a 5-year bourbon coming up. Not too many details on it public yet, but we're working on it for sure, and it's coming soon.
It's fantastic.
Art of the Spirits Distillery out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, getting ready to start. Open
when I pulled from the barrel, I thought it was 110, 112.
Tasting room here later this year. The Gypsy Room coming soon to you. We've got 2 labels that are out in stores right now. Everything that Art of the Spirit does is going to be cask strength whiskey. That's what the people want. That's what he's doing. Everything that we do is a store pick. So especially if you've got a store that you know the picks that those guys are tasting are in line with what you like, it's probably going to be in line with what you do. So the 2 lines we have here, we've got Bonnie and Clyde. Everything Bonnie and Clyde is going to be cask strength. It's a little bit lower proof. We've got 108, 110 here today. Everything from Bonnie and Clyde is going to be finished in some type of barrel, usually a Madeira, a tawny port, or a ruby port finish. And then we've also got the originals. Originals a little bit higher strength. This one's aged 7.62 years. It's just a whiskey blend.
I don't sell it.
And then we've also got some of these out right now that are a 4-square rum cask finish. So 4 square is a premium rum. And he's got that finished as well. They've got an 18-year here in Colorado Springs at Veterans, Click, Patriots, and Freedom Liquor Stores. And so that's kind of the lineup. So everything from the one is going to be a finished kind of wine finish, and then you're going to get more of your whiskey blends with the originals. And that's what we've got. And that's what we've got coming up is the Gypsy Room. There's some cool things with that, VIP experiences, and even a barrel program selling 37-gallon barrels that he's going to be doing. So
very cool.
Richard Paul is the guy. Hit him up, and he can get you started with that.
Simple enough.
Today when I take the barrel at the end, if you want to fill it up again,
do it again.
And yeah, look for the displays. He's got these. He sells a barrel. Here talking with Talnua Distillery.
Hi, how you guys doing? Welcome. America's first single pot still distillery.
So how long have you guys been in business?
So we've been in business, we opened St. Patrick's Day of 2019. We started distilling January of 2018. So been in business through all the fun pandemic fun, and but the whiskey's got now more age on it, and more time's always a good thing.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So what do you got in front of you here?
So we've got our full lineup. I'll give you the quick and dirty spiel here. So we've got our blended whiskey. It's whiskey that we bring over from Ireland, blended with our house pot still whiskey. You're gonna drink like a Jameson Tullamore Dew. Nice, light, easy drinking. Then we have our Solera vatted whiskey, where we bottle out of that vat, but we never fully empty it. New casks go in as bottles go out. So you continually have kind of a complex aging profile here with those younger, spicier barrels, but that older whiskey that's been in the vats for a couple of years. We then move on to our bourbon cask and stave. Aged and ex-bourbon cask, going to be much more grain forward, like you might get from say a Green Spot, something like that, that has that malted, unmalted barley, triple distill, nice vanilla, sliced pear, green apple, and then our virgin American white oak. So distilled in that Irish tradition, but aged like an American bourbon would be charred to virgin American white oak cask. So, and then a couple gins that we also have here that we showcase really in our cocktail program at the distillery.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, do you have any exciting things coming down the pipe?
Yeah, we have a couple exciting things. We're going to be releasing the very first bottled and bond single pot still ever in the United States. And then later in the year, we're celebrating Colorado Parks and Wildlife, their 125th anniversary, with whiskey, our traditional pot still whiskey, aged in a Balistrary Vineyards port barrel. So very Colorado-centric, all Colorado barley, Colorado vineyard that makes a port there. So that'll be released this October.
Awesome.
That'll be coming out to celebrate their anniversary.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how long have you guys been around?
So we've been around for a little over 10 years now. We actually just had our 10th anniversary this last fall.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what do you have in front of you here?
So we've got our big four. We've got our rye section over here. We've got our bourbon section over here. Barrel proof and small batch versions of each. And then what you see with the clear whiskeys are those mash bills, just obviously unaged whiskeys, just cut down to fruit.
Very cool. Do you have anything exciting coming down the pipe?
We do. Well, we're always playing with different types of whiskeys. Our E-line is something that's always fun that's going to be coming out here pretty soon. We just released our third batch of our straight bourbon. We'll be releasing our straight rye here pretty soon too. And then coming in the fall, we're going to be doing our maple batch 4. So
very cool.
Plus, we've got some other fun things behind the scenes we're working on that we're not going to let.
Better than you don't know about it.
I'm
selling E10 right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I'm a distiller. I don't even know.
It's all right.
I know everything.
So
talk with Eric about that one.
We opened our tasting room in 2018. We've actually been distilling since 2016. Our first round of products, specifically the whiskeys, we've been doing young, if you will, young whiskeys that are basically barrel aged in 15-gallon casks, number 2 char American oak, for anywhere from 11 to 12 months. Just allows a nice liquid to wood ratio, and allowed us to get some product into the market a little bit sooner than it would have straight.
You're feeling a little hungry or thirsty?
With us today, whiskeys, we have our bourbon, our rye, and our first straight production, our straight single malt. The straight single malt is actually a marriage of 4 different casks, 53-gallon casks, that we did, 2 of which were about 2.5 years, the other 2 approaching roughly 3 years. One of the better products we've put out. It's really proud of what we've done with that one.
Awesome. Do you have anything exciting coming down the pipe?
We actually do. Next weekend, July 2nd, we're actually releasing our first straight rye, throwing a big party at the tasting room and distillery.
Tell me, how long have you guys been around?
5 years. We actually had our 5th anniversary party last Saturday.
Awesome. Very cool. So where are you guys out of?
Longmont, Colorado.
Very cool. So what do you got in front of you here?
So we have our straight bourbon, straight rye. It's probably our 2 most popular. We got our house bourbon, our Luska spice rum, and then our Alpine gin. So our whiskeys, the grains from it come from Slagle Farms, which is just a couple of minutes down the road from us. So super local, aged about 3.5 years each. And then our gin features Colorado botanicals, and then spice rum.
Awesome. So do you have anything exciting coming down the pipe?
So we actually just changed to a distillery pub. So we're in the process of building a kitchen and expanding a little more of what we offer at the distillery. We got a new summer cocktail menu at the distillery, and then we've got a bunch of new bottles and stuff in the works as well.
Very cool.
How's it going, guys?
So how long have you been around?
4 years. We opened in 2018.
So what do you got in front of you here?
So whiskey-wise, we've got our side gig whiskey, which is a blend of straight whiskeys. It's kind of a little home for all of our experiments. Kind of an ever-evolving blend of whiskey. Everything in there is at least 2 years old. At this point, we've got at least 10 different grains that are represented in the blend. And like I said, it's ever-evolving, so it's pretty cool. In addition to that, we've got our straight bourbon and straight rye. These are limited releases at the moment. We don't make enough to have them all the time, so when they're there, you got to pick them up. Our rye is 100% Colorado rye, totally unmalted, so it's a big rye punch in your face. A lot of spice, and that's it. Nothing else. There's no other grains in there. Our bourbon right now is a blend of 3 different barrels. Again, all Colorado grown. We got corn and rye from one barrel. We got corn and wheat in another, and corn and triticale in the third.
I ran out of time. Between the weather, all the different distilleries, I just ran out of time. I couldn't sample all the different delicious whiskeys that were there. But you know what? SOCO Still Fest will be around next year, and maybe I might have to see the other distilleries that I missed. Now, SOCO Still Fest was a great time, and I was sampling a lot of different whiskeys, but I really didn't have time to go too much into detail with them. But if you want to check out a review of one of the great different distilleries who were there, go ahead and check out this video, and you can find out more about what they had to offer. And I'll see you there. Cheers.